everyone, I hope you're all safe and well. I'm back with another macro keyboard, and this one brings together two of my most favorite things, which is Salesforce and DIY electronics. I work on the Salesforce platform every single day, and irrespective of the project or the build at hand, I need to be able to open a couple of common apps or set of pages. For example, profiles, permission sets, or even the developer console. Let's say I want to go to the profiles page. I need to click on the gear icon, click on setup, wait for the page to load, search for profiles, click on the profiles link, and then go to the profiles page. What if I could skip all that and go straight to the profiles page with just a press of a button? This is repetitive for other apps and pages as well, and I could definitely save some time if I could make the navigation faster. I've built keyboards that can type emojis, mute or unmute me during conference calls, play funny sounds to avoid awkward silence, or even take me to my most used websites. So I thought, why not build something to quickly navigate to my most used Salesforce pages? This is unlike anything that I've built before because the previous ones used keyboard shortcuts or simulated keystrokes to get things done. But this one needed to be aware of the Salesforce context and even work in tandem with the Salesforce org. It was really an exciting challenge and I'm all up for learning. So after 6 months worth of weekends, late nights, research, building, failing, and refusing to give up, it turned out to be a beautiful combination of hardware and software. And I'm super excited to introduce Link, the Lightning Navigation Keyboard. So without further ado, let's check it out. First, let's see what it does, and next, how it works.
All of these buttons are conveniently grouped and placed according to their usage. The first row is the security row. The second row is the automation row. The third row is the developer row, and the fourth one contains a few miscellaneous items. The first button opens the users page in setup. Pressing it twice opens the detail page of the current user. This one opens the profiles page. This one opens the permission sets page. This one opens the sharing settings page. Now onto the automation row. You might have already guessed it. This one opens the flows page. This one opens the next best actions page. This one opens the Einstein bots page. And this one opens the MuleSoft Composer app. Next is the developer row. Now for all the developers out there, there's a new shiny tool on the block, and that is Code Builder. So this button opens my latest Code Builder workspace. Pressing it twice opens the Code Builder dashboard. Now Code Builder is still in beta, so while we wait for it to be generally available, we need to work with the other dev tools. So this button opens the developer console. This one opens the LWC editor Chrome extension. This one opens the static resources page. Now the best for the last. This row starts off with a smart button that opens the object manager. But you might be thinking, what is so smart about it? Well, this button is aware of the page context. So if I press this button when I am on an object list page or a record page, it opens the object manager of that specific object. So for example, here I am on the account page, and when I press this button, it opens the object manager for the account object. This one opens the schema builder. This one opens the All Sites page for Experience Cloud. This one opens the CRM Analytics app. Now those are some good number of tabs open, and we all know the more number of tabs open, the more RAM is consumed. So this keyboard has a smart feature that avoids me from opening unnecessary duplicate tabs. For example, if I want to open the profiles page, which is already open in one of the tabs, and when I click the profiles button, instead of opening a new tab, this keyboard redirects me to the tab that is already available. This keyboard operates independently, so it works with any org without any setup. Here I am logged into another org and it works perfectly. And the best part is I can completely customize what each button opens. To do that, I just have to press and hold any button on the keyboard for a couple of seconds and it will open the configuration page. Here I can specify the press type, which can be single or double, and their respective links for each button.
Well, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, let's talk about how it works. My previous version of the macro keyboard project got a major hardware upgrade, and this latest iteration gets a major software upgrade. This build was different. I had to experiment how each button would be uniquely recognized so that it can be configured to a different Salesforce page. Now, the software had to be running in the background to receive this unique input and redirect to the configured Salesforce page. My first approach was to use keyboard shortcuts. Each button would send in a unique combination of keystrokes as a keyboard shortcut. But this is tricky because the software runs in the background and these keyboard shortcuts that I'm using could be used by any other foreground app, which would result in an unwanted outcome. Not so robust, so no. My second approach was to use the web USB API. This one lets the web page to communicate with the USB device, which is the keyboard in our case. But for this one to work, the script had to run on a web page that is open, and we needed to choose the device every time the page loads. And because I wanted this to work with Salesforce, running a script on every Salesforce page and choosing the device every time a page loads takes a huge toll on the user's experience. It's not scalable, so no. Going back to the basics, this device is basically an Arduino Pro Micro, which is programmed to be a keyboard under the hood. So it can type letters, press modifier keys, or even type special keystrokes, just like a normal keyboard. So after these two experimental approaches, I started thinking, what are the other human input devices I use? A mouse is definitely out of the question, given its limited unique inputs. I then realized I also use a joystick to play video games, not on my work machine, and the joystick has a ton of unique inputs. After a quick Google search, I found a library that lets me turn the Arduino into a joystick or a gamepad, and it also supported more than 16 unique button inputs. This, combined with the Gamepad API, is a perfect solution. But what is Gamepad API? The HTML5 Gamepad API is one of the most exciting HTML5 APIs. It allows a website to easily take input from a game controller that is connected to the user's machine. So I built a Chrome extension which has a background script that is actively listening to incoming Gamepad inputs. Using the configuration page, I configure which app or page each button opens, and using the HTML Web Storage API, I store these configurations in the local storage, which is then later referenced by the Chrome extension's background script. So long story short, this macro keyboard is now a joystick under the hood, and the Chrome extension handles the Gamepad inputs and the link logic. To access the Salesforce data like the current user ID or the details of the latest code builder workspace, I'm grabbing the session ID from cookies and using JSForce to authenticate into the org. And that is how the Lightning navigation keyboard works. That's pretty much for this video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and have a lot of fun.